Well, hi, it's Cheryl Hickerson, Females of Finance. I'm so happy to see all of your faces here, and especially happy to see my friend Vicki Vollweiler with College Financial Prep here. Vicki is one of those people I feel like you meet your family sometimes along the way, and I probably say your name as often as I say maybe my husband's in a month's time because I'm like, do you know Vicki Vollweiler? You should know Vicki Vollweiler. And Vicki, why don't you start off telling everybody about your greatness and what you do?
Thanks, Cheryl. So my company is College Financial Prep, and in the main, I help parents save money on the cost of college. I help with college planning, scholarships, financial aid, and student loans. So it's the entire financial process, and it really starts. Well, it starts as early as the babies are born and you want to save money, but the work that I do typically starts with putting together the college list and making sure that the colleges on the child's list are going to be affordable for the family, doable. And it's not the sticker price, it's what it's going to cost your specific household.
Yeah. And I think that's really important because I'll raise my hand because I always point the finger at me first is that you have this idea about where you're going to go to college, right? And so I remember when I was a teenager and I say to my father, he said, "Where are you going to go to college?" And I'm like, "Wash U." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." I live in St. Louis, and that's a very reputable college. Most people know Wash even across the country. And if that didn't work out, then I was going to go to Mizzou party school. I was so excited. And then if that didn't work out, then I guess I would go to SLU. Well, my father wanted me to go to College of the Ozarks because it's free. You work your way through college and only a certain amount of students are allowed. You have to have a certain GPA and this whole other, business. And I'm like, I'm not going there. Well, in the end, what ended up happening ultimately was my dad said, I got accepted to Mizzou. I got accepted to SLU. And then WashU said, "Go home, little girl." And I wish Daryl were here because Daryl would be like, "Who got accepted? Me. I got accepted to WashU." But I ultimately ended up going to SLU, but my dad paid for it. And that was the determining factor for me because I didn't have to go through the student loan process. I didn't have to go through those things. And I'm realizing now at 52 what a gift that was. In the time, you're just mad because you're just like, I wanted to have a dorm and I wanted to have the experience. And it just ended up being regular old college, but I was grateful for it. Vicki, one of the things that I want to start off this call, because I think every single person here knows somebody who has a child that's gone to college, a child that's going to go to college, a client that's going to go, have a child that goes to college. What are some of those unknown costs that, as we say, oh, our child's definitely going to Old Miss, or my child's definitely going to follow here. But then all of a sudden these costs creep up. What do some of those look like?
I mean, everybody knows of tuition and room and board, but I mean, sorority and fraternity costs, figure in at least a couple thousand a year. Um, Tutoring, and even while they're in high school, you have to get ready for all the scholarship application fees, all of the fees to send the SATs or the ACT scores. Depending on which financial aid
Yeah.
application, there could be fees. There's oh gosh, with the college, while they're in college, you have to make sure to include the cell phones, the computers, the books, if they're going to have a car there, the travel expenses.
Yeah. She said traveling
Almost
home for holidays, Claire.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Lots of stuff, and it all adds up.
it
Um,
really does. And fast. It's very fast if you're unprepared for that. And that's where I think you come in as a realist and say, "Hey, this is great. Did you know?" And then the parents sit back and go, "Oh my."
Well, definitely. One thing we talk about is, spending money for the kids. Are the parents giving the kids an allowance? Are the kids going to get a job on campus and, earn their spending money? So different ways to handle it. But yeah, the numbers add up fast.
They add up really fast and lots of forms, and people can make a lot of mistakes on these forms because they don't know exactly. They come ill prepared. They didn't have everything ready. And I think this is
Definitely.
where you're really the guru expert, in the space of, hey, did you know about? Out of curiosity, before we go into that, tell everybody sort of the background, what led you to start College Financial Prep. And this will explain why we're talking about this particular topic today.
Um, so I'm divorced. Not that that has so much to do with college, but I'll explain why. So when I was going through my divorce, I actually spoke with a college advisor and started to ask about numbers and how to best prepare. And this was, many, many years before my own kids were going to college. And the person said to me, "Oh, no, you don't need to think about this yet. Come back to me, when the dust settles, when he's ready to go." And that was just the wrong answer for me. Anyway, many years later, I went through a divorce. I decided to become a divorce coach. I was helping people with their personal finances. And someone said to me, "Now, how am I going to afford to send my kid to college?" And you know what? It is a real concern, not just for people who are divorced, for people who are married, for people who are widowed, for everyone. With the amount of student loans that are out there today, and the numbers keep going up, and tuition keeps going up, it's a real concern for all families. So while I did have my start in working with, separated and divorced clients, I'm pleased to be helping so many families today.
Yeah, and I think that's really great. It's powerful to me because one of the things I love about you is that you meet every family where they're at and every advisor with their family where they're at. Because like you said, every family is like a fingerprint. They're so different.
Definitely. We were just saying before this, I just met with a family that had eighth grade twins. Every person is concerned about college at a different point in time. And the goal is to meet them where they are and relieve whatever stresses, provide that information so they can take the best steps for their household to move forward.
Yeah. And some of the things that I've seen happen. So once upon a time in the risk management world, I used to be very pro telling clients and telling advisors to tell their clients to put life insurance on their kids going to college, because if something happens, you need to be able to pay for those expenses because they're still going to come due, within reason of what the college is willing to work with you on. The other thing is for the unknown costs. A lot of times people start dipping into places where they probably shouldn't, like their 401k, those retirement plans, the equity in their home. They'll go back and start, like, I've got money over here. And that's really not the way to prepare for your college financial experience.
No.
No.
I mean, depending on the client and the situation, I mean, today I was working with a client and we were, trying to figure out where can they save money so they can put more towards a monthly payment plan each month. It depends on the client and how much they have. Sometimes people do have money saved in 529 plans, but it may not be enough. Or maybe need to find different college and then it will be enough. I mean, it all depends on the goals of the family, the values of the family,
Yeah.
what they're looking to do.
Yeah. And that kind of makes me also wonder too about how do we better help us understand how you help with the parents work with the child and what the goals are of getting to school, what that looks like.
I'm a firm believer, huge believer in communication. I would start certainly no later than senior year in high school, having a talk with the kids. What is available to put towards college costs? And be open and frank about it. This is how much we have. Maybe a certain family's goal is they want to save money, as much money as possible on undergrad, and maybe put it towards graduate school. Or maybe their goal is to, just find the best name and, at the best price. But you should share your goals with your children, because what I've seen happen too often is May 1st is decision day. So May 1st of senior year is decision day. Come mid-April, too often parents come to the realization that they can't afford their child's number one school. And then they have to let the child down. The parents are upset. The child is upset. I'd rather they start working together from the beginning and have shared expectations, shared goals.
Yeah. And that's where, I shared also with Vicki before the call actually got started that my husband's son is 15 and he's special needs. And so we're going to, our process is a little different in that transition space because we have to have conversations about what does college life look like? Can he go to college is there going to be care there to help with his education? And I'd rather start now at 15 because I actually had a girlfriend say, that's pretty early. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I would rather be at 15 and start getting to an awareness point than getting to 17 18 and being like the OS point. I don't want to figure it out at that moment, you
You know what?
know?
For everyone that has a child that's 15, go visit a local college campus,
Mm.
visit a couple just to, for your child to have a feel of what different college campuses look like. Are they interested in a rural setting? A large school, a small school, doesn't hurt to go take a ride.
Right, exactly. And that's what we're going to be doing. And one of the things too, I wasn't aware of until I met you, to be honest with you, is how much help there is in the schools today. Now, my children are older, 35, 25 to 35. And even then, there really wasn't as much resources available. Now the schools, I feel like they have a summit. They're going to have a summit this week on how do we transition? Basically, how do we get your kid out of this joint? Let's put them someplace, but I didn't realize until I looked at all the classes, like for the parents, that we can go to on the transition care of what that looks like and how to find a college, and not to the depth that you're doing though, because that you're doing something very specialized. Why would a financial advisor want to work with somebody who's a third party in this particular setting? What is it that you bring to the table that helps sort of relieve from the parents' point of view, the student's point of view, and the financial advisor's point of view?
Um, while the advisors help people save for college, I help people save on the cost of college. So, my goal is hopefully they can leave as much money as possible in their retirement accounts, in their brokerage accounts, and not have to potentially go into debt. I get into the nitty gritty of what do the schools cost, and then, how can we best position them to maximize financial aid, to find those hard to find scholarships, and if we have to look for student loans, making sure that they will be the most cost effective.
Yeah. And I would tell anybody who's watching this live right now or on the replay, if you don't go to collegefinancialprep.com's website and sign up for her newsletter, Vicki always has scholarship opportunities that she's out there talking about. Like, hey, did you know about this? You're sharing that. You're
Yeah,
sharing a lot
definitely
of,
on my Facebook page are all the scholarship opportunities.
yeah. And you've got a Facebook group, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, for your,
Yeah,
talk
it's
about that.
preparing for college, parents group.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that that's really important because, talking about it, because it is so different for everyone. One person might have this great experience, another one may not. And then you get into this, and that's where I feel like Vicki's a good mediator, because she's like, hold on a second, let's bring perspective to each person on that. I'm really curious, because I think one of the things I like about the work that you do, Vicki, and the way you do it is you involve the child. They get a say in some of the stuff. And you
Yes,
hear a
but I'm
voice for
also
them.
very sensitive, especially when I'm working with divorced parents. I mean, all the time, but especially with divorced parents, because a lot of the times, finances need to be a big part of the picture. But I'm sensitive to, what's appropriate for the child, and then making sure not to share information with either parent that shouldn't be shared. So I sometimes, I mean, I need to act as a third party neutral, and I'll have people, text me information on a Zoom call, that might be sensitive, and
Yeah. See, and I think that's really special the way you go about handling that, because I would have never thought about that, to be honest with you, at the time. I mean, I was married up until my kids were gone out of school, and then I got divorced. Right. So thinking about it right now, as you said that, I would have never even considered that it wouldn't just be an open. I thought, oh, you just talk about it.
no,
I'm
I mean,
finding out you don't do that.
no, I mean, the great thing is, especially in the case of divorce, when we're all working together, it's, for the benefit of the child. It's, most often a win-win for everybody. But still, you need to be sensitive.
Yeah. What about kids who I hadn't really asked you this question before, but I'm going to selfishly right now. What about those kids with special needs and some of the sensitivities of the things that they need? You're working with families who have kids on the spectrum, et cetera, and helping them with college as well.
Right.
And
Um,
and I'm kind of curious what maybe some of that looks like, because I feel like that once upon a time used to be a we didn't talk about an issue. And I'm so happy now special needs are something we are proactively talking about. What does that kind of look like today for you when you discuss placing some of these
um,
kids or finding college
it's really
needs?
more, I guess, the program that's going to be the right, academic fit for the child. But the process in the main on my end is, similar to any other child.
I love it.
There was one child that I recently worked with, glad to say, after all was said and done, still was able to save them. And this is after, financial aid applications and everything. I was still able to save them an extra $32,000. I mean, it's fabulous.
I just saw Claire go, wow, out loud. I mean, I could literally see her just say that. And that's the way, I mean, that's the kind of thing for me that I feel like this is real help on everyday things that happen. People, we do want, and what about, we say college a lot. Does this also include like tech schools and those types
Yes,
of kind of,
it can include tech schools. I mean, not in the main, most of the work that I do is college and graduate school.
okay.
But yes, I mean, people that need help with their financial aid applications for technical schools, it applies to.
What about, I feel like I'm not trying to trip you up because I just, as you talk, I keep thinking, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about adults going back to school?
Yes. However, adults are different. Kids may be looking to go away. Adults typically are more limited in
Yeah.
to certain geographical location. So they may know, oh, there's this one program that I want to do, and this is the only school that has it.
Okay.
So there may be less opportunity to compare schools, possibly to negotiate, just because of the limitations, it may be a little harder. But then again, depending on the finances of the adult, it may also be possible to get them lots of funding.
Yeah.
Both Pell Grants and institutional scholarships.
Are you able
It
to
really
work with,
depends on the household.
are you able to work with families and advisors across all of the United States in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I'm located in New York, but I've had clients in California, in Texas, in Chicago, all over.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, we're coming up on close, but I want to say, Claire, do you have any questions? You always are the question queen.
First, Vicki, I want to say, honestly, you make financial advisors' jobs much easier because of you saving that money makes them able to invest more and things. So I think it's a great collaboration and circle of care.
Thank you.
Mike, I have a question about working with school counselors and navigating so that I'm just going to my own experience. School counselors want to have as many Ivy League schools, as many 4-year schools, because that makes the school look better. And they're starting with kids. How do you? I know you're not going to work with the counselor, but how do you have that conversation with the parents before the counselor? Does that make sense?
Yes. Oftentimes parents will come to me and they'll say, these are the schools that my child is thinking of. And I'll take their schools and we can go and project costs for each of those schools. And, there have been times, I know I've been talking about divorce a lot, but I'm going to use a divorce situation again. There are some schools that are friendlier to divorced parents than others. Some schools will look at both parents. Some schools will look at only one parent. Anyway, that being said, this particular family, they came to me with a list of schools. And I'll say, not this one, because they're not going to give you a dime because I can project it out. And this one will be friendlier. You should, so we can be strategic in terms of what schools to apply to based on what the ultimate cost would be. So even if a married family comes to me with a list of 10 schools and, maybe there's some financial need in the family, or some schools will be more generous than others. And we can go and project that and say, no, you should remove that school. Let's find another school that may be, more similar to one of the others.
Yeah. And it's so funny that I appreciate the fact that Claire asked that question, because the whole reason why I got WashU like stuck into my head is because the school that I went to was like, you should go to WashU. You want to go to medical school? You should go to WashU. And St. Louis University had a very good medical program. That's where, Dr. D went there. I went to medical school, and after about 11 months, I was like, well, I'm way too social for this. I can't do this job, so we found out real quick that was not for me. But that's where I got it from, Claire, was from the counselor's office when they come in and have you sit down and do all of that. So I'm really grateful that you asked that question the way you did, because that was exactly where it came from. And I didn't even know anybody who wanted to wash you. My dad didn't go to wash you. So I'm like, I have no idea, but that was exactly it. This is great. Anybody have other questions too? And I will say this. I have somebody right now, Vicki, that as a friend of mine, that his son got accepted into like 9 schools on athletic potential scholarships and things, and he's trying to make decisions and such. And I might tag you on he just announced it, and I might tag you on it because his son's like a huge like state champ in Missouri for wrestling and things of that nature. And he's trying to make, and as soon as I saw all the pamphlets on the table and they're trying to make their decision, I was like, I'm coming to this call today. I got to remember to do that. So I wrote his name down. So I'll make certain I tag you in his post.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Put a little, and I think that's the other thing too, is for those of us that are here, everybody here is a member, I think. But tag Vicki in those discussions too. If they have an open Facebook where you're seeing they're talking about it, just do that. Please do that, because we would want to do the same for you as well when those conversations come up. And this is such a critical and very, very super niche space. I know that there's I'm going to just say it. I know there's a company out there that does some of the stuff. It's very automated. And the reason why I love Vicki is because she does the one-on-one stuff. It's the human, relational part of it versus a transactional piece of it. And this is one of the reasons why.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for saying that. No, I like to be able to, one-on-one sit down with people and get into what they're feeling and why, and help. And, I've had clients literally, they've said to me, I help them sleep better that night just because, we're able to talk things through. And, I'm not a financial therapist, but I'm thrilled that I am able to help people reduce their financial worries when it comes to paying for college.
No, I think that's really great. Karina, do you have any questions today? I know you popped off for a second because you're disconnected on your internet.
I actually, yeah, and I popped off. I wanted to hear that. I guess I'll have to listen to the replay, but I do have a few questions actually. The first one's very specific, and it's just because somebody, like I was talking to a mom from my kid's soccer team, and they're in a very specific situation. They applied for asylum. So I guess they have like a social security number, but they don't have their whatever. I don't know if it's a green card that they're supposed to get. I just wanted to know if Vicki helps family, like her son is very bright. He has great grades and everything. So they moved to the country recently. And she's trying to find out information about scholarships and things because it's so expensive here. But the problem is, it would be a lot easier if they had a green card, and she doesn't have a time frame. It's been over a year already, and so I'm hoping
when is he
that they
supposed
get
to
it
go to
soon.
college?
Huh?
How old is her child?
He's in 11th grade, so he'll be a senior next year.
October 1st is when FAFSA opens, and that's the federal financial aid forms. Ideally, if they can get whatever they need to get before October, that would help. I mean, really, they can do it. October 1st is just the day that it opens. The form will stay open. They'll have the entire year, but ideally, it's best to do it as soon as possible. But yeah, it will definitely help if they can have, like their alien registration number.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think they have a social. So have you worked with people who are non-citizens?
A couple of times. I mean, it's not the main thing that I do, but a couple of times. So yeah, as much information as they can get would be best.
Okay, thank you. And my other two questions. One is, have you heard, because at least here, a bunch of the staff in my office and my advisor, like they seem to think that I'm in Florida, so University of Florida is one of the top public schools in the country. So they feel, for some reason, in their experience, like just seeing from clients when the kids have 529 plans, that it's easier to get into a competitive school like that is obviously not an Ivy League. If you don't have a 529, like sometimes they rather take I don't know, that That's what they said. I don't know.
Say
I
that
don't know
again,
what to.
please. Well, I mean, the 529 is considered an asset.
Well, they feel like to accept the kids, they rather take out of state kids because
Well,
it's the tuition is like 3 times as much.
Right, a lot of states do that. They like to take the, especially the public state universities. Yeah, they want to draw from out of state so that way they can.
And the prepaid college plans, they were saying too that sometimes could work at a disadvantage. I mean, I don't know if I believe that, but is that your experience?
It's not my experience.
Okay.
529 plans, what's good about them is that they're, even though they may be, for the benefit of the children, is that they're considered a parent asset, when completing the financial aid form. So that's a good thing.
Isn't that changing though? Aren't changes that are gonna come that?
There are changes that are gonna come. There's something called the FAFSA Simplification Act. Few changes. Not a lot of people are against the changes, fighting the changes. So I'll probably have more to say about it as it gets closer to next year when it's all said and done.
And thank you so much. And my last question is, how do you, and this could be on your website. I don't, so let me know if it's on the website and I can just go look for it. How do you charge? Do you have packages? Is it like a consultation fee?
Sometimes I'll meet with clients for just 1 hour and we'll just do a 1 hour consultation. And sometimes parents need more and then it's a package.
Okay, so you do have packages.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, George, you're off of mute. You have some questions?
One, I heard that there was a law coming in that 429 plans can be converted to Roth IRAs for the unused portion for the children, as long as there's a 5-year waiting period. Have you heard that?
I've heard that you can convert it to a Roth IRA if it's not being used, which is great. But also, the 529 plans, they can be used for a sibling, they can be used for a cousin, but it's certainly nice to know that it can be now put towards a Roth IRA and not be penalized for, for moving the money to a different type of account.
Okay. Thank you.
Good to know. I have 529 plans for all my grandkids. I have 10 of them. And, that's what we do is we put money in it instead of giving them like traditional like gifts and things like that. We put and it's so cute. I started off telling my grandsons, I'm like, I bought you a bank. This is when they were like 8. They're like, we own a bank? Because they could see them driving around the road. They knew what a bank was, right? And so now when I come to their house, it's so funny because they're 13, almost 14. And they'll say, how's my bank, Grandma? I'm like, you want to see it? And I do. I always pull it up by my phone. I'm like, do you want to see it? They're like, oh, yeah, I want to see it. And I show them how much money's in it. And they're like, that's pretty cool, Grandma. Like they're starting to understand now. The 7-year-old is just, she's out there going, I don't know what a bank is, yet.
Right, but just in case one of them doesn't want to go to college, it's good to know that it can be used for, the others. It can
be transferable. So I did not know that until this call. I was today years old, as you would say on TikTok, to learn that. Any other questions out here? This is, I always learn when you guys ask questions. So I love them.
Are there questions in the chat?
I was looking, no, but that was Karina saying I'm back. I got disconnected. So I don't think you missed anything too juicy, Karina, that you got to go back and re-listen to, but you can.
Well, they were talking about for adults, like if you go back to school, let's say for a graduate degree or something.
Yeah.
Say that again. So
about the adults going back to school.
Adults go back to school, can certainly, should still be filling out the financial aid forms, but it's more limited in how much a person is able to save because there's less room to negotiate. An adult is more likely to want to stick to a smaller, geographical distance. They're already, may have a family, have a home, so there may only be options for like one school if they're going for a specific program.
In area, especially more rural areas too, they only have usually a couple of options. I know that from where I live. So I get that. I live. Our big excitement is the Roadhouse. We have a Texas Roadhouse. It's very exciting in Arnold, Missouri, in Walmart. I'm like, hey, don't knock it. It works. But I can drive to St. Louis if I want to, but I don't want to. It's from my front door to the Arch is 22 minutes. That's how quickly you can be in rural Missouri from the Arch. It's crazy, right? But I don't want to go there if I don't have to. All right. So I feel like we went a little over time, but that's okay. These were good questions. We will have the replay up. Claire, you're off mute.
No, I just wanted to thank Vicki. This was
Aw.
awesome. And because I got a lot of notes. So
Not you, Claire. No way. I know. I love it. But no, seriously, if you have not connected with Vicki, please reach out. You can actually go to the females in finance our front website and just click the link and it's got her website right on the front of it. We really believe in the work that Vicki's doing and love partnering with her. And she is somebody that I have just mad respect. Sarah Samrawi, you just came off of mute.
Yeah,
How
I
are
want
you?
to thank Vicki. Good. Hi, everyone. I'm glad I joined. I'm actually working with prospects going through divorce, and one of her main primary concern is college planning for her two sons. So I'm not too averse in college planning. I was looking for resources for her. So you're my go-to person now.
Thank you, Sarah. Actually, Sarah, let me say this, and let me say this for everybody. If there are any planners or advisors, I'm always willing to, jump into a call for a few minutes, if you want to, if the client's interested in college planning and, offer to help.
Yeah. And we actually have a standalone. Vicki's very special to me. I got mad love for this woman. But we made a standalone website for Vicki on here and I put it in the chat box. So you can click that link. Actually, Karina just asked, what's the name of your Facebook group? And Vicki, if you remember, because your memory's better than mine sometimes, to send me that, I'll put that link to your Facebook group on your standalone page too. But go ahead and tell Karina what your Facebook group name is.
There's a Facebook page that's at College Financial Prep. And then there's also a group that's preparing for college.
Is it for the
parents group.
letter 4 or is it for?
Yeah, it's like a P4C, but it's under preparing the number 4 college.
Yep, there you
Oh,
go.
okay, because I had looked for preparing for college, but you weren't the
Sarah
admin, so-
Samrawi's already got it in the chat box. Of
Yeah,
course she does.
Oh, awesome.
Love this group. I love all of you.
Thank you so
We've all
much.
got each other's back. Wonderful, wonderful ladies. Well, I want to make sure I be respectful of your time. I just adore each of you and look forward to we have another Tuesday topic next month. Now, next month's going to be important. It's March, it's Women's Month, and every single day, starting tomorrow morning, we have an announcement every single day, starting at 9 a.m. of 31 things that are going on at Females in Finance. All of them new things you've not heard about. So please make certain you check Facebook group and other places. We'll be talking about it there. And then we'll have next month. I think next week is Rachel Fox with Sunny Day Fund, I think. But look on the schedule. I got too many of the events in my brain to go as it is. But good to see you all. If you need anything, please reach out to me. Vicki, thank you so much for this. You are just, like I said, you're the expert in the space. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Thank
Vicki.
So much.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
now. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.